Everybody, this is Big Toad here. Welcome back to my Unreal Engine 5 2D side-scroller tutorials. And this is tutorial number 3 in our series. If you remember where we left off from our last video, we had gotten our character so that it only ran on the on the Y and the Z axis. It could not come off the X. But as you can see, we still have a camera problem. The camera is still rotating around our character, and so we want to fix that. So we'll be working on that today. It'll be a simple fix, and maybe we'll fill in with a few other items as well. We'll see how far we get. And so let's go ahead and get started. Let's hit escape to kill our game. Let's go to our content drawer and open up our blueprint for our third person character. Okay, with my scroll wheel, I'm going to scroll out. Now I can grab the blueprint view and pull it down so I can see the camera input nodes. And it's right in here, this part of the blueprint, where I can fix the camera so I don't rotate around and get all kinds of views that aren't appropriate for a 2D game. So we're going to disable some of the functionality here. So on this green line coming out of the X axis, let's go ahead and double click there and get a node. And then we can break that. Okay, now we know where it came from, and let's do the same with this one on the Y-axis. Pull it out and break it. And again, the reason we did that is so you can remember where they were originally connected. So if you want to go back and see what you've done, you know how you did it. Again, is there better ways? Yes, there is. You could probably delete this whole thing, but let's keep it for educational purposes. And that's what happens when you click Run Game before you minimize. But we can minimize our screen, and now we can run the game. And now we can run back and forth, but we cannot move the camera. We cannot rotate the camera around our character. So now we can still run, we can still jump, we're still moving on the zero point of axis on the X or red. And so it's looking a lot more like a 2D game as we go along. But of course, we can still run off the edge and fall to our death. So let's hit escape and kill our game. And we can reposition ourselves to the front of our platform. Now let's go up and change our perspective to top view. And we'll scroll out a little bit, and now we can see our platform. And we're going to do a few things. That's the text that says 2D player or 2D game, whatever, our 3D game, third person. We're going to move that to the back so we don't have to have it right up front. Maybe I'll bring it just inside there so I can still see it. I might want to use the words later. So I have it. I can always delete it later. And also, let's see, this item here is our sky atmosphere. I'll leave that alone, leave it right where it's at, or you're going to mess up your lighting. And here's our player start. Now, that's where our player used to start, but then we did modifications in the blueprint, so it always started on 0 on the x-axis. So we're just going to move this up more appropriately where it belongs, just for reference. Okay. Now let's work on these walls. I want to use these walls to extend our platform so I can show you a couple different things about the side scroller when you're looking at it. All right, so you can see it's a little high. So we're going to lower this wall so it actually acts like part of the extension of the platform. And we're going to do this for educational purposes. When we're done, we'll convert things to a more appropriate view. But let's line that up like so. Now you can scroll in to get more precise, but you can also, in the detail section over here on the right side, adjust them, and it's more accurate that way sometimes when you're trying to make fine-tune adjustments. Over here on the right, we can click the details panel, and we have very helpful items there: location, rotation, and scale, and we can use that to shift the location of our wall to line it up perfectly. Okay, so now if we zoom in on the wall, we can see we're a little bit off, and I could probably grab that blue thing and slide it up, but we can also adjust it in those details items that I just pointed out in location. So that's the blue axis that we want to mess with. So we go over to blue, and we can adjust that number. From experience, I know I just have to change that to 400, and it'll line right up. Now right in the middle of my screen, you can see where that wall we just adjusted overlaps our platform just a little bit, but that's okay. That'll work for now. Let's go up and change our perspective now to the top view, and we can zoom out a little bit. Here we go. And we can see where the platform and the wall meet. And I'll highlight the wall so you can get a better feel for it. So now we're lined up in both directions. So it's lined up with where the character will be running and where the platform is. And now we can run our game, and there is our character standing right on the edge. And we're going to move towards that wall, and there's the wall. See how it overlaps. And yet we can still run right along the edge of the wall. We can jump. And when we get to the end, yes, we can fall right off still. But you can see we line that right up perfectly so we can still run. Now I don't like that the character's foot is half hanging off the edge, but we can fix that as well. So let's hit escape and kill the game. And it takes us back to our platform view right where we left off. So we've got something we can do here. Let's move our platform so that the character, because moving this back and forth, it doesn't move the character anymore because of the code we put into the blueprint. So you can see that had no effect whatsoever. So let's go ahead and kill that session. And let's highlight the platform. And just for fun here, we'll grab it and we'll slide it forward. And we'll go ahead and grab this wall that's now a platform, and we'll slide it forward. Line it up perfectly. Should snap into position. Now our character should look a little different when we run in our viewer. I'm going to make an adjustment there. And set that one the same way. Use our numbers to make sure they're perfectly lined up. Oops, the wrong one. There we go. Now, let's run our game. And you can see now our character is running appropriately on our platform and down the top of our wall. We just had to move the wall and the platform out a little bit. We could have made that adjustment in our blueprint. Remember, we had the X always being set to 0, 0. We could have moved it there as well. Let's kill the game and go back to our view of our platform. Okay, now I'm going to move some items around our platform. I'll take this box that was out there. I want to put it right on the edge. What that's going to do is that's going to prevent our character from running off that edge. And now I'm going to slide up to this other side. There's our wall. Go to the end of the wall. I'm going to grab one of these other walls, and I'm just going to slide it up there and pull it right down to the edge. That way the characters cannot run off the edge of the platform or the wall. Now, again, is this a permanent solution? Of course not, but I want to show you how easy it is to box your character in on a side scroller. So we create those end caps. Now we can run it again, and we'll go down to the right and run into the wall, and we'll run back down the other way, down our platform, jumping as we go. And we get down to the other end of the platform, down the wall, and we run into that other wall. So this is for practical purposes. Obviously, it's not anywhere close to being a finished landscape or view, but we have it. Now let's kill the game, and let's move on to the next step. So we've got our character running left to right properly and not able to ever move to the x-axis. That's what we wanted to accomplish as a main thing. We did a little adjustment on our platform so that our character doesn't run off the ends. And in our next video, we'll work on some more basic items, maybe putting some textures on and showing you some of that stuff. But we're going to get into some more heavy duty stuff soon. So hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the Big Toad, and I am out.